Picture this, it's 1943. A British SOE agent slips through the shadows of occupied France, passing German sentries with nothing more suspicious than a pipe clenched between his teeth. Across the channel, in a nondescript London workshop, craftsmen are carefully engineering that same pipe, hollowing the stem, testing the balance, ensuring the 3.5-inch steel blade concealed within slides out smoothly when needed. And in Berlin, German counterintelligence officers are examining captured spy equipment, growing increasingly paranoid about everyday objects that could hide deadly secrets. These concealment weapons defined covert operations during World War II. They were everywhere. From London to Cairo, from resistance fighters to trained commandos, the pipe dagger was the icon of clandestine warfare, innocent-looking, yet lethal in the right hands. Yet, if you look at modern covert operations equipment today, you'll notice something strange. The pipe dagger has almost completely vanished, replaced by sophisticated digital surveillance tools. So, what happened? Why did intelligence agencies abandon these ingenious mechanical concealment weapons that dominated covert operations for decades? And what does that evolution say about how espionage itself has changed? The pipe dagger represented the perfect marriage of deception and lethality. Developed by the British Special Operations Executive, SOE, in the early 1940s, this innocuous-looking smoking pipe harbored a deadly secret, a spring-loaded stiletto blade concealed within its stem. The beauty of the design lay in its perfect execution of the core principle of covert operations. Hide in plain sight, the pipe dagger appeared completely functional as a normal tobacco pipe. The bowl could be packed with tobacco, lit and smoked. The stem featured a proper draft hole, allowing smoke to pass through. To casual inspection, even by trained guards, it was indistinguishable from an ordinary pipe. Yet with a simple twist of the bowl, a lethal steel blade would deploy, transforming this seemingly harmless smoking accessory into a silent killing tool for close-quarters elimination of sentries or for last resort self-defense. The origins of the pipe dagger can be traced to Britain's desperate situation in 1940. Following the evacuation at Dunkirk, Britain stood alone against Nazi Germany, and conventional warfare seemed insufficient. Winston Churchill authorized the formation of the Special Operations Executive with his famous order to set Europe ablaze through sabotage and subversion. SOE quickly recognized that their agents would need specialized equipment, tools that would allow them to move undetected through occupied territory while carrying the means to defend themselves or eliminate obstacles to their mission. The pipe dagger was conceived in this atmosphere of urgent innovation, where creative thinking and unconventional approaches were not merely encouraged, but essential for survival. What made the pipe dagger particularly ingenious was its psychological dimension. German security forces were trained to search for conventional weapons, guns, knives, explosives, but they were far less likely to confiscate a common pipe, particularly when the owner asked permission to enjoy a smoke while being questioned. Some historical accounts suggest that SOE agents used this psychological advantage effectively, deploying the weapon during moments when guards lowered their vigilance. The pipe dagger represented a perfect understanding of human behavior. Guards might be suspicious of many things, but a man requesting a smoke break seemed to demonstrate a level of calm incompatible with hostile intent. This psychological insight made the weapon far more valuable than its simple mechanical design might suggest. The production of pipe daggers was entrusted to a small circle of craftsmen working under strict secrecy. Unlike mass-produced military equipment, each pipe dagger required skilled handcrafting to ensure it would pass scrutiny. The briar wood used for the bowl had to be properly cured and shaped to match commercial pipes of the era. The internal mechanism needed to be reliable, yet completely concealed. The blade itself had to be compact enough to fit within the stem, yet sturdy enough for lethal use. Production numbers were necessarily limited. Estimates suggest fewer than 400 were ever produced, making authentic SOE pipe daggers extraordinarily rare collector's items today, with specimens fetching upwards of $10,000 when they occasionally appear at auction. Training agents to use the pipe dagger effectively presented unique challenges. At SOE's secret training facilities, such as Arisaig House in Scotland, agents were taught to deploy the weapon in a single fluid motion. The technique required practice. Twist the bowl counterclockwise while gripping the stem, then thrust forward in a single motion. The natural movement of bringing the pipe toward the mouth provided cover for the initial grip adjustment. Agents practiced until the movement became instinctive, executable even under extreme stress. Training also covered psychological preparation, using the pipe naturally enough that it would never draw suspicion, even when in the company of the same guards for extended periods. Agents were taught to build a consistent persona as a pipe smoker, carrying appropriate accessories and developing the habits that would make the disguise impenetrable. The pipe dagger saw field deployment throughout occupied Europe, particularly in France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, where SOE agents supported resistance networks. While specific operational details remain classified even decades later, declassified SOE after-action reports mention several instances where concealment weapons proved decisive. One account from 1944 describes an SOE agent in occupied France who was detained at a checkpoint. After smoking his pipe casually during questioning for several minutes, the agent was able to eliminate the sentry when a moment of distraction presented itself, escaping with critical intelligence that later supported Allied invasion planning. Such incidents, while rarely documented in detail for obvious security reasons, demonstrated the field effectiveness of these specialized tools. Beyond its practical applications, the pipe dagger represents a fascinating chapter in the psychological battle of wits that defined World War II intelligence operations. The German occupying forces in Europe became increasingly paranoid about concealed weapons, sometimes conducting absurdly thorough searches that still missed the most cleverly disguised tools. This paranoia itself became a weapon in the psychological warfare arsenal of the Allies. The mere rumor that ordinary objects might conceal lethal capabilities forced the Germans to expend tremendous resources on security measures, creating friction in their occupation administration. The knowledge that any civilian might potentially be carrying concealed weapons heightened tension among occupation forces, sometimes leading to overreactions that damaged German standing with local populations. The technological sophistication of the pipe dagger should not be underestimated despite its mechanical simplicity. In an era before miniaturized electronics, creating concealment weapons required exceptional mechanical engineering in miniature. The internal spring mechanism had to be reliable yet compact, functioning perfectly even after extended periods without use. The blade needed to deploy with sufficient force to be immediately useful without being so powerful that it might accidentally deploy. The entire mechanism had to withstand the heat generated from actually smoking the pipe without compromising functionality. These engineering challenges required solutions that pushed the boundaries of materials science and mechanical design of the 1940s, all while maintaining the outward appearance of an ordinary commercial product. The legacy of the pipe dagger extends well beyond World War II. It established design principles for concealment weapons that would influence covert operations throughout the Cold War. The SOE's successor organizations, including branches of MI6 and eventually the CIA, continued developing everyday items with hidden lethal capabilities. The fundamental insight that the best concealed weapon is one hiding within a fully functional ordinary object informed decades of espionage equipment design. From camera guns to belt-buckle knives, from lipstick pistols to fountain pen darts, the pipe dagger's DNA can be traced through generations of covert operations technology. Even as digital technology has transformed modern espionage, the psychological principles first perfected in tools like the pipe dagger remain relevant for field operatives working under deep cover. While the pipe dagger itself has faded from operational use, its place in intelligence history represents a high watermark of ingenuity in the face of existential threat. In our current era of digital surveillance and biometric identification, the challenges facing covert operatives have transformed dramatically. Yet the fundamental problem remains unchanged: how to move through hostile territory carrying the tools necessary for mission success. The pipe dagger reminds us that sometimes the most effective solutions arise not from complex technology, but from profound understanding of human psychology and behavior. It stands as a testament to the creativity that emerges when conventional approaches fail, and survival depends on seeing beyond established boundaries. In the shadowy world of espionage, where deception is both means and end, few tools have ever achieved such perfect harmony between ordinary appearance and lethal capability as the humble, deadly pipe dagger.